golly, we're back. Okay, hello, we're back with another video. Welcome to Collector Creations. In this video, we're talking about art cards, everyone's favorite waste of money. Or at least waste of a bonus feature. We're talking about art cards. You know what they are. They're little, little pieces of... They're this. Just, hold on, let me just, Ooh, look at that. It's an art card. Wow, look, art. It's got the art poster on the back. There's more. Look. Wow. Is it like jangling keys in front of a child? Anyway, we're talking about art cards. So, arguably a problematic thing when it comes to collectors, because a lot of people don't like or don't feel the need to have the additional factor of, why is my money also going into pieces of paper that I don't need? Maybe it's posters, maybe it's booklets, maybe it's art cards. They all have distinguishable elements as to why they have a necessity of existing. So I'm going to cover a couple of different bases that I think are worthwhile, and others that I don't think are worthwhile. So I'm going to start with Barbarella, because this is a great example of art cards that shouldn't be around. Now, unless you love just screenshots of movies, then yeah, sure, here's like a fuck ton of them. Look at that. Whoa, look, as I showed you. Wow, 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 wow. You know, none of these images are really iconic for the movie. For a movie that, if you actually watch the special features on the disc to look at the extra posters and, you know, art and images and whatever, they would show you lobby cards, they would show you posters, they would show you all this extra stuff that looks so much better than this. I don't know why they just use these bland images for the most part. It's such a gorgeous film, restricted to not great images that are just, one of them is okay. Technically two. I'd say maybe two images are okay. Like, that one's not bad. But again, it seems like a promo image. These are meant to be replicas of lobby cards. That's very much like the origins of why they exist. Most of the time you'll have, you know, it actually have details here, like saying like Barbarella, Jane Fonda, and some dude, and like some extra little details, maybe a little PNG of her with a gun or whatever, you know, just little juicy things, and a little image from the movie. The idea would be, again, you go to a movie, cinema palace, whatever it be, and they'd have these on the wall, maybe a big poster, and you'd see the little art cards, you'd be like, wow, okay, that looks nice, the production design, wow, she looks sexy, I should watch it because she looks sexy. He's looking at the camera, wow, that looks funny, you know, I don't know. It's meant to entice you into watching the movie. That's very much a clear factor, as well as the poster. Times have changed. Clearly, we don't use lobby cards anymore. Sometimes you might get little collectible posters if you go to see some roadshow films or some particular cinema experiences. I know when I saw Megalopolis in IMAX, they were handing out the posters. Not many people took them, but they also stupidly put them on the way in, not on the way out. Put them on the way out, then you can decide if you want to have this piece of paper that you've been holding for 3 hours. You know, figure it out. Anyway, that's one example. That's probably the worst contender. That, and I'd say arguably what Second Sight do. Second Sight have their own version where they actually use artwork that is like completely new. Do I have a recent set? Oh, actually, I could use, that's a good example. Texas Chainsaw, classic film. 10 out of 10, beautiful looking film, grainy, ugly, all kinds of beautiful, like the good kind of ugly. So you get art cards in there as well, where they would be, you know, artwork made for the film. You know, you get the little art icon there, all the characters. These are all like artistic, you know, versions. It's actually like drawn. This isn't a photograph. It's fucking drawn, which is great. You know, shows all the characters, all this kind of stuff. Now, this isn't a bad example, especially because it's a great scene to show, like, replicated in this particular art form. It's really goofy. I like it. There's nothing on the back, sure. But if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check here. I could be wrong. I am very wrong. Holy shit. Hilariously bad example, because I just realized all the artwork in the rest of that set is completely unique to itself. We've got the Hitcher. This one's a much more obvious example. So, you got the artwork on the front, whatever, landscape artwork on the back. You know, looks attractive enough till you realize that, you know, character artwork, character artwork, that's on the back. Artwork again. You notice a trend. Oh, it's just all characters. They're all characters. That's the front. That's the front poster. But if you take a look at this, this is what houses the discs. Artwork, same as the art card. Artwork on the disc, same as the art card. Artwork on the disc. It's the same, replicated throughout the set. They've just, littered the artwork elsewhere throughout. You're basically like, oh, hey, here's these cool art cards, 5 or 6 pieces of cardboard that are representations of the film, which are just pictures of people, and they're also on everything else. The Texas Chainsaw one is much more unique in that contrast because the booklet that comes with it, the disc pack, everything else comes with completely... Oh, shut up. Completely different artwork, especially because, as it is, this is already a huge wraparound. This does... look, there's even different characters and different images of different people. They've just gone out of their way to get every single form of artwork that they can possibly grab out of this. And it looks great. I love it. What a wild contrast. That's like some good use of art cards. So, at least those, the benefit of them is that they are completely redone. It's completely new artwork that represents the film. That's my benefit that I'll give the second site, where Arrow Video will at least give you, a tiny version of the poster. If you like the poster, I love this poster. That's why I have that as the main artwork, despite the set being the, unfortunately, redone artwork set. Even though I don't mind the artwork, it's just not... Yeah... Another example would be what they did for Caligula. Now, Umbrella did this gorgeous 4K set for Caligula, the Ultimate Cut. They did a bunch of art cards as well. This is my favorite example of what you can do with art cards, because, again, it's a poster, and a poster, and a poster, and a poster. Actually, that's the poster for the book, the porno book. A poster, and a poster, and a poster, and a poster, and we're back at the start. These are all different posters from different countries, which is amazing. I love this. This is a great way to showcase how you can do art cards right. Sure, they're still blank on the back. I don't really care. Sometimes you'll get like an actual postage thing, like it'll be like a postcard. So sometimes they're not just lobby cards, they're actually postcards because they're designed in the shape of a postcard because they're tiny. You know what a postcard is? They're tiny little pieces of cardboard that you send to people when you're poor. When you're poor? Oh my god, what is wrong with me? You want to show them an image of a place you've seen that everyone else has seen in that place? There you go. Postcard. Well, it's the same with movies. Now, this is Viavision's set for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which also comes with a J-card. Wonderful. I've also done a video on J-cards. This is a specific limited edition set. The main perk of getting a set like this is lenticular artwork and this. There's nothing else. You could wait for a standard release and you wouldn't get this kind of stuff. Do I think this stuff's important? Well, look, it's a nice image, and they're glossy, they're nicely photographed and everything, some nice images, some iconic ones at least, whether you think the film's iconic or not. This isn't the worst example nor the best. Because the thing is, this is like nicely produced. It looks like proper photographs. Like the actual gloss that they use for it is great. Like this would be a good display piece. But at the same time, is it necessary in this case? In this case, I think Halloween 3 is probably the perfect example of when money is like almost no object to the consumer. If you give a shit about this limited edition, you would only be benefiting from a couple of art cards. 6. A little pamphlet to put them in, and a lenticular hard case. But it's sold out because there was 1,500 units. Bam, gone. But guess what? They reproduced it, and they reproduced it without any art cards. It's just a standard version. I never saw it in store, but I can either imagine that they either used a standard slipcover, or of course, they just went without any kind of slipcover whatsoever. And that's perfectly fine. You can still get this, the standard version, not bad, whatever. But then you can get a hard case. Look, it's got Tom Atkins. He's on the back. If you know this film, It's a great scene. And you get like lenticular artwork. And I love this artwork, so it's one of the main reasons I got it, as well as a dear friend did a fantastic commentary on this release. But of course that stuff has been reproduced in the standard release anyway, so you don't need to go out of your way to get the limited version, whatever. There is very much the question of, are art cards worthwhile? And it's up to, obviously, the consumer. Most people agree it's not worthwhile. It goes along with posters. Posters you can put up on the wall if you have the actual chutzpah to put up the posters. Half the time, so many of these releases that I have behind me which have posters, ignore that space up there, some of them have posters, I just haven't put them up on the wall. I don't need to. I have a wall covered in posters. Do you think I have enough fucking posters? Most of them aren't even mine. Some of them are Dad's, like the Metropolis one. Anyway, so we got a fuck ton of posters already. You know, I'm not going to litter the rest of the wall with posters because you got to, you know, I don't know. I'm not in a punk rock band or whatever. This is just how we go. So, bad example. I think art cards have their place. I think we're getting to such an economic degree of, you know, limited edition, big releases coming out, like with like the Hitcher and like with Halloween 3 and Caligula and Barbarella, where people look at these extra perks of you get a poster and you get art cards, and everyone's like, nobody wants that. Who cares about that? You know, sure, nice to have it, I guess. Not really the art cards. No, so far I've seen fucking no one liking art cards. But it's just that thing of, they see it as a contribution to the price. Say the base price is $60. Let's say 60 USD. I'm in Australia, so that would be like 80 Australian dollars, whatever. And you get the hard case. You get the slip cover, you get the art card, you get the poster, maybe an essay, a little booklet, whatever. Just the basic stuff, at least for an Arrow Video stuff, maybe even a Viavision, whatever, depending on the brand. And there are benefits to it. Like, I like the art cards and the poster. I like the whole thing. I like getting them, but I can see when they're a waste. Something like Barbarella, I think, is a waste. The images, not nearly as iconic as they should be. It's a beautiful looking film, and they've chosen those. They're not great. You look at the actual photo gallery on the disc, like I mentioned earlier, it has so many good images on it that you're like, why didn't you just use those? They have digital versions of the lobby cards on the fucking disc, and they're not reproduced, and those ones look so much better than what we actually got. Should that mean that they should actually go out of their way to do a better job? I don't know. Maybe it's a licensing thing. They're not allowed to do that. Maybe some brands are like, hey, we can put the money into this beautiful artwork on this set and use art cards to replicate that artwork as well, just in case you want to really emphasize it or highlight it somewhere on your wall or whatever. Say Texas Chainsaw or anything Second Sight has done, where they will do that. And that's nice. At least it gives the artists some extra room to do so many more versions of their own artwork. If it's something like Texas Chainsaw, which has unique artwork everywhere, then that's beautiful. If it's like the Hitcher, where everything is replicated from the art cards onto the actual set themselves, and it's like, I don't personally like that, but it's nice to have it, I guess. Like, you're already buying a big bulk set. What's a couple of extra pieces of cardboard really going to do? I don't know. Is it that expensive? I don't think so. But I don't know. They never tell you. So you don't know if you're spending like, $120 on a set where you could be spending $110 and not getting the art cards. How would you know? They're not going to say anything. We're never going to know. Something like Halloween 3, the Imprint, the Viavision set, is debatable. I like the set. Sure, it's nice. The holographic nature, all that kind of extra juice is not bad. And I got it on sale, luckily, at the time. But I wasn't getting it for that stuff. If the standard release had been out and I had to compare, like if they were both in store, I went to JB, Halloween 3, lenticular limited edition, standard release, because they obviously sold out on the original website. And I'm like, well, look, it's like $15 of difference, and I'm getting a slimmer package for the standard version with still some nice artwork, whatever, and I'm not getting art cards, I'm not getting the lenticular. Do I really need it? No. No one needs it. Unless you're really, really flashy, or you're very, very limited to what you actually buy, so you like to emphasize the display feature, or you're a huge collector of just this one film, so they happen to release a specific edition and you want to get the look of it. Like collecting a bunch of steelbooks for one film. It happens. So with Halloween 3, I have just that example of, I bought it because my friend who passed away did the commentary. I didn't want the release. I wasn't going to ever buy the release. But because he passed, I was like, I have to buy this release because I knew how much he loved the film, and I loved the film as well. I already had an old Viavision release. I already had a fucking 4K Screen Factory release, which I still haven't watched because I've only been able to see it either on streaming with friends or on this, Blu-ray, because that's just the circumstances I've watched them under. I've had this 4K, and I haven't fucking watched it. I haven't gotten around to actually watching the actual visual presentation of the 4K because of that, which sucks. Though I do have 2 actual players, so realistically I could always just have like my mate's commentary through one player and have the 4K through the other. That's a possibility. I could do that. It takes a bit of extra legwork to sync it up in time, but for the most part, it could work. Actually, that's a great idea. Anyway, it's a lot of legwork. I don't think they're necessarily a worthwhile endeavor to get, art cards if they're just reproduced stills from the movie, because you've already bought the movie. You're already going to be looking at that as the movie goes. If they have a digital version of that on the disc, that's wonderful. No one's ever going to look at it. I like to look at that stuff because I think it's great. I really like looking at that kind of stuff. Because most of the time there's a lot more let's say for example, risque images, for example, something that's not particularly PG. Take the movie The Secretary, for example. Actually, I think it's just called Secretary. But, the Maggie Gyllenhaal one. There is a release of that I have which has the, image gallery, and it shows a bunch of images. They're actually not that risque. They're actually pretty tame. They're very tame. But it's an example of a movie that you could definitely say, well, it has a photo gallery on it, and it has a bunch of images, behind the scenes, and promotional stuff, and posters and whatever. I like that. It's just fun to look at. But it's just one of those things of, I don't mind seeing that on the disc, because it does not take up that much extra disc space, and at least you can just look through it as a little slideshow. Hey, this is cute, look at this great poster. You might see a poster or an image and be like, I want to buy that as a physical reproduction. And then you go out of your way and you find it and you buy it. Whatever you want to do. Something like Caligula, I think, is a great example of what you should do with art cards. Not you, the consumer, you, the distributor. Hi, you're not watching this, but just in case, I love what Umbrella did. Their version for Caligula, this is obviously the big $150 box set. They're going to go buck wild with it. But the fact that it was just different versions of posters for the movie, I think is great. Do you get replications of these anywhere else on the set? Probably. They could, again, have a photo gallery which has those things. But obviously there's probably something I haven't mentioned. What the fuck is it? If Second Sight has it, and Arrow Video has it, and booklets. Of course. Now, of course, I mentioned booklets before because I mentioned them for the essays. But those booklets, lo and behold, especially the ones that fucking Arrow do, guess what they have inside those booklets? Images. Do you know what those images are? The same as the goddamn art cards. That's where I look at it. I'm just like, that's the same as the art card. That's the same as the art card. Like, I don't... What the fuck? That's one of those things where I think it's such a waste. Like, Arrow really just wasted. It's not necessary. I don't care most of the time for the posters, but I like that at least you get the original poster, which for Barbarella, fantastic, love it. The redone poster for the new artwork, well, at least it's on the reversible side, so it's nice to have it, but at the same time, I can live without it. But it depends on if you like the new artwork or the old artwork, or if you have a particular fancy, whatever it is. Even Caligula has 2 different posters, which are both double-sided, and both feature great sets of artwork. But unfortunately, my favorite 2 are on the same one, and it's double-sided. I'm like, I don't know which one to choose if I were to display it. The other one I wouldn't display at all, because it's like, I'm good. I'm not that big a Caligula fan. Anyway, so that's just another criticism I have. Like, at least for Viavision, the art cards and whatever, sure, if you really want to go the fanciful stuff, whatever. They don't have a booklet. So there's no... those images aren't reproduced in a booklet. But Second Sight, they are. And Arrow, they are. But at least, again, for Second Sight, it's artwork that's completely new for the film. Sometimes it's not reproduced within a booklet, but, usually over the book or over the, digipack, whatever, that houses the Blu-rays. Whatever extra books and stuff they have, like with The Hitcher, it's replicated over everything. But probably if they have a booklet, which they do, they probably don't have that same artwork. They probably just have stills from the movie. Stills is still a good thing to have to show in the book whatever, because it's just still inside a book. It's just nice to have little pictures to divide things. I can see why people are so critical of art cards. In a time that we're in now, when it comes to everything is so expensive, you want things to be cheaper, which means that they have to produce less for it. Sure, I think that they should still produce essays, because essays can give a good retrospective and introspective onto films or TV shows or whatever, especially from people who are very good writers or have such an interesting insight to it. Whether you agree with their opinion or not, it can be an interesting way to look at a picture. And I love that. That's great. Not just because I know people who actually write those essays, but because I think it's a great just thing in general. I like it because I also just like reading about films. Art cards, on the other hand, and even realistically to the stretch of posters, I don't think are completely necessary. A poster is fine. I think because it's a smaller thing and it's double-sided, new artwork, original artwork, double-sided thing. Most people like that. I don't think most people display them, but if they're huge fans, they have this big poster, whether it's made of paper or like high-quality glossy paper that some of the companies actually put in the legwork for. Sometimes they don't. I don't know. Maybe they want to be cheap. Maybe they just want to be able to recycle it just in case everyone wants to get rid of their stuff. But the art cards, I don't think have any real value. If they're just images from the movie, even if the other side happens to have a poster, it's not really great. I don't think it's worthwhile. The Arrow video versions, not good. What you get for Vivision, except for Halloween 3, not great either, given that that's what the limited edition bonus is. These 6 cards that are just, again, nicely produced, high-quality stuff. That's nice. There's that extra oomph to it. But really, it's just the slipcover with the lenticular. That's what people are after. Sure, why not? What Caligula did, reproducing all these other posters from different countries, I think is a genius idea. Especially because the set itself has this emphasis on how it's different cuts of the film from different countries. So it's got that universal, international degree to it. I love that. That's a great representation of what the set is. What Second Sight do, I don't like what they've done for the Hitcher, for example, because it's the same artwork on the art cards are on all the little inside stuff. Texas Chainsaw, on the other hand, stunning, 10 out of 10. But the benefit, nonetheless, for Second Sight is that they're not paying to license images for the movie. If they want to do that, they put it in the book. The art cards is just the artwork that the actual artists that they've hired to do the artwork for the actual set. It's there. You can get it as just individual art cards. If you just want to have them, they're there. If not, you can still look at them on the book, on the cover, on the disc pack, all that kind of stuff. So I have respect for them in that area, where they're still highlighting the artwork as an individual bonus, just in case you want it. And maybe, again, even the person who designed that artwork, maybe they have friends and family who want to support them, whatever, or want to be able to show, hey, when you come over next, I've got your art cards put on the wall. It's in the bathroom next to the shitter, but that's okay. It means you can look at them. It's pretty, It's not always disrespectful, I swear. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think art cards are worthwhile? Do you have a preference for which type of art cards, like what Arrow did, what Imprint Vivision did, what Umbrella did, or what Second Sight have done? Are there any other versions of art cards that you think have actual value, and do you consider posters to be in that bundle? Do you think if it has art cards in the poster, not worth it, but if it's just a poster, sure, but if it's just art cards, ugh. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.